live today, but I was like, I have been so behind on editing videos, and I was going to post this message on TikTok, but I decided I am basically a YouTube exclusive creator. So much of what I create is for YouTube. So I figure, why not come live here and share my personal message with you guys? So I decided this morning I wanted to get up and pull some cards, and I often do this in the morning as part of my meditation. Sometimes I'll read a scripture, sometimes I'll look at human design gates or gene keys, and I figure today I was really drawn to my oracle cards and oracle deck. So I'm going to show you guys the deck that I am going to be pulling from, or pulled from already, because I already have the cards for y'all to keep it cute. Well, this is one deck, and this is the Earth Warriors Oracle deck by Alana Fairchild. Oh, I love the light hitting this deck. But as you can see, it says Earth Warriors Oracle, Rise of the Soul Tribe of Sacred Guardians and Inspired Visionaries. So the purpose of this deck is all about guiding light workers to help create a new Earth on this planet. And we know that that is so needed right now because the Earth is ghetto. So just to show you guys what some of the cards look like. Very beautiful imagery and colors, and just look at that. The Pachamama card is so beautiful. She with the Andean heart, Andean emerald heart. All right, so I'll be using that deck as well as I pulled a card from my Herb Crafters deck, which I'll show you guys right here. This is the Herb Crafters Tarot deck. This was a gift from my friend Branche, who is so sweet and an herbalist and also hosts tea ceremonies. So it was just very intentional, and she knows as I'm growing my apothecary, I needed to grow in my knowledge of herbs, and what a great way through this tarot deck. So I pulled the card from here that I'll be reading for you guys too. So let's jump right in to this reading. So first things first, I'm going to show you the card I pulled from the Herb Crafters deck. I had pulled Bee Balm. So this is what the card looks like. It's a beautiful picture, 2 of Fire. And then I'll read for you guys what it says from the deck and also give you some of my personal contemplation on it. So 2 of Fire. And this deck lines up with the tarot, so they have similar names. So 2 of Fire would be literally 2 of, why is it not coming to me? 2 of Wands in the Rider-Waite Tarot. So here it says, as you guys can see, it says, Bee Balm, Monarda species, harness the power of desire, embrace creativity with confidence, courageously step toward the heat. A hat rests on a stone potting table. Bee balm plants grow from seed, are ready to be transferred to the garden. Tools and gloves are gathered in preparation for planting. The pungent smell of the leaves and the vibrant color of flaming red flowers sets the bees a-buzzing. An empowered, bright spirit inspires others. Bee balm brings bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds in the garden. Planting bee balm stirs activity in the area, igniting growth by shaping a diverse ecosystem. When making decisions, take a creative approach. Be original and open to alternative ideas. Spicy bee balm remedies heal with a kick. Walk with flames of passion under your feet. Through excitement and fear may charge your actions. Be confident about what must be done. Like these striking flowers, we attract what we desire when we show our bold, colorful selves. So with every message, it gives you kind of like a little way that you can craft with the herb. So here it says, save the bees, grow bee balm. Attract what you desire by wearing bright colors inspired by bee balm flowers. And now is the perfect season for brighter colors and just energetically dressing for the time. So we're moving into spring. We just passed daylight savings time. So we lost an hour, but we have tons more sunlight. So now would be the perfect time to wear brighter colors, take greater risk. We have light, we have more light, so we have the sun on our side. And when we're working with the elements, as this is a two of fire or two of wands card, it's very much about being comfortable working with the fire element itself. So here it talks about how this can help with our spirit. And when we have a fiery spirit and we have our vitality, it really can help us tap into our passions, which help us show up in the world as our brightest selves. So the last thing it says is make spicy bee balm infused honey for respiratory ailments, cold and flus. Take it before creative work sessions to fuel your passion. So again, this goes back to working with the element of fire, and that since bee balm is great for production, I would say, in the sense of producing in a creative way. When you combine that with fire, you adding the passion, the enthusiasm, and spark into the creativity, you are bound for success. So that is the message for the Bee Balm card. That's really, really promising because I have tons of stuff to do later today. So here I feel inspired. And it's so funny because it talks about having a stone potting table. I have my stone pot here. And I also got my monstera that I wanted to transfer. So it's kind of like being able to work with the diversity of our planet by knowing when it's time to move. And fire is about movement. So just like repotting this plant, working with elements that are also going to get action and movement within our bodies is going to be beneficial. So I'm going to show you guys the card one more time. Get anything else that you would like to gather for it. As you can see, this is showing the repotting of the plant, as well as there's gardener gloves and things. So this card is all about getting that energy into motion and sometimes moving away from something to gain, especially if, like my potted plant right here, it's not it's not really continuing to grow, but you may have another plant or opportunity that you can fill it with. So there's that card. So now let's get into the Earth Warriors Oracle deck. I pulled two cards that I often pull for myself, which I think is ironic. And the cards are the Alakoa, which is the spirit of the warrior. This deck is actually the picture that's on actually, no, the Pachamama picture is on the card, but this deck is another powerful picture that you're often seen with the deck. And this is the card 34. So 34 is all about your power in human design. Gate 34 is called the power of the great, and this is about being able to use your physical energy towards your manifestations and your purpose. So I'm going to read for you guys what this card is, the spirit of the warrior. Also continue to look at it so you can get whatever downloads you're meant to get for yourself here. And the next card from the Earth Warriors Oracle deck is the Panthera, and this says the precious and the rare. And when I've pulled this card, it's all about being very discerning and also trusting myself and staying away from negative influences because of the power of my purpose. So if you, as you have this card now in your reading, are seeing this card, this is really about trusting your purpose in the world and being able to, as it shows, act as a jaguar, cutting off anything that's no longer serving you so you can go through your full transformation. So here's what it says from the Earth Warriors Oracle deck for the cards. And as I'm reading it, I'll probably stop in between to give you guys some messages that I'm channeling or gathering myself. And a welcome to the people who are passing through. I saw that this has gone up to like 12 people so far, so thank y'all. But also, this video will be on my channel that you can always come back and watch. So here's what it says for number 30. It says, as you guys see, I really be in this book. It's lined and stuff. It says, our faith and optimism are not meant to make us complacent, but rather to encourage us to believe that our action in the world will have a positive and real effect. There are situations where your voice, your courage, and your fearless determination are needed. You will make a difference. Cast helplessness or despair aside and find the fighter within. Fight for that which needs defending with all your heart. Do not yield. You have the strength to handle any challenge, even the ones that intimidate you. You may feel that you're alone in the fight sometimes, but there are forces of good in spirit and upon the earth that are fighting with you, supporting you, believing in you, assisting you, and championing your success. It may not always feel like it, but you are not in this alone. There is help at hand to uncover a hidden piece of information which will allow truth and justice to prevail. So know that if you're going through a season that feels highly confusing, or it feels like if I'm overly optimistic, things may not work out. This is all part of you not being complacent and moving towards your passion. Sometimes we have difficult seasons because it's a reminder to us that we have to go through this fire in order to realize like the truth of our purpose, or realize the truth of, how do I say this? The state of the world. And sometimes it's uncomfortable because it's not necessarily things we want to see or even have to deal with. But part of moving past that complacency is what makes you, as the Alakoa card talks about, a spirit warrior. So here it says, do not give up on the divine. You are not overreacting or making things seem more important than they are in truth. When in the face of possible loss, something deep in our soul recoils in horror. It is a sign that something it is not right. It is not a sign that we are too attached or not trusting enough in the divine to figure everything out. Is a sign that we must fight to safeguard what would otherwise perish. We are not here to be passive consumers of what the dominant mainstream consciousness tries to enact in the world. We are here to be the embodiment of loving consciousness, to be the fearless, determined enactors of wisdom. We are here to educate, to inform, to rebel and refuse, to speak up, to make waves, and to honor the light in such a way that we protect and preserve what was real, what has real value in this world. So I want to quickly stop there because I do feel like this is so, so important. We don't realize sometimes the things that we are ingesting through our algorithm is actually perpetuating more of what we do not want to see in the world. And it's so important to come to this awareness because this can really change and impact the way we use social media and we consume social media. So it says, the body, the earth, and her creatures are not illusions. Saying that they are not real in spiritual wisdom. That is an unholy deception perpetuated by the forces that do not want sacred activists derailing their devastating behaviors that place profit above all else. So part of the confusion we see happening in the world is the denying of the divine feminine spirit throughout the world. And when we deny the divine feminine spirit within the world, we basically are denying a part of our humanness and a part of our nature. And we are denying nature, like the planet itself. So part of this understanding of who we are and this opening of this new awareness can come through connecting with nature, with the planet, and just with others. And by doing that, we connect to the world's soul. So here it says, it says, that is unholy deception perpetuated by the forces that do not want sacred activists derailing their devastating behaviors that place profit above all else. Those of the Matsi tribe of South America are known as the Jaguar people. Exposure to outside influences and grabs for their land have changed their economy, introduced disease, and challenged the continuing existence of their culture. Their innate spiritual right to live as they choose has been violated. Short-sightedness, such as the exploitation of their lands for financial greed, is never part of the divine plan. We notice because the pure of heart recoil in horror and disgust at such events. We must not fall prey to the dark deception that tries to make us accept what is unacceptable by falsely attributing it to the divine. The recoil of the heart lets us know that the divine is not in that situation and has not created that situation. It has been created through the operation of darkness and the misuse of human free will. So, whenever you feel like something makes your heart recoil or something brings you to a state of feeling true horror, this is literally your soul or your body telling you to act against it, or also to no longer be a part of it. This could also be removing it from your life. And it shows that that is really necessary for our survival as a human, and also for the survival of our light energy. Because you can survive as a human, but if your energy or if your frequency, like in the sense of your mood, is in a negative state, that is not going to help you actualize. So when we talk about survival, when it comes to this, I'm talking about your soul survives when you are in the right environments around the right people. And when you feel like you're in a situation your soul cannot survive, it is no longer a situation for you. So it says the divine is very much needed to correct and restore the situation before negative use of free will creates irreversible damage. We have the power to evoke that protective and corrective divine presence through the wise use of our own free will, which involves taking conscious action whilst praying for courage, inspiration, assistance, and protection. Such sacred activism builds self-esteem and boosts our belief in what is possible for wise and courageous people to create together. We become unwilling to be hoodwinked or be made to feel impotent, made to feel impotent in the face of unjust destruction. Instead, we rally and we rise. We gain energy and we could become fierce with the divine healing energy. So I'm going to stop there for that part just because this is a really long meditation. It comes with a healing process, so I recommend, I'll probably link the book below for you guys for whenever you watch this video. But it really is speaking about taking action and sacred action towards the things you want and against the things you don't want in your life, and how that is so important. I knew that a lot of what I see in the world doesn't resonate with me, but I can take sacred action by sharing messages that do resonate with me. So think about ways that you can show up online or show up in your community and take that same sacred action, creating more of what resonates with you and leaving behind what doesn't. So the next is the card 34, Spirit of the Alakoa, Spirit of the Warrior. I am going to read this card for you, and I love this card because it's just super, super powerful. As all the cards here, it's a deck about 40 to 44, 45 cards. So this one says, thank you guys for working with my little setup. I'm trying to let y'all see me, but then get the plantitas over here. You feel me? So this card says, Spirit of the Warrior. Though you yearn for peace, you recognize that without truth, genuine peace can never be. Even if it triggers an upheaval of transformation, the need to set things right is strong in you. This is the inner drive of the spiritual warrior, the compelling soul needed to uphold truth, goodness, and justice. You will fight for these things because that is your way, spirit warrior. Trust and see the positive impact that you are making in the world. You're relentless and the divine is within you. So in a reading, it says, do not give up. If you feel hopeless, despair, defeat, or frustration, and you wonder if it's really worth it, place your mind in your heart and your heart in awareness of what is inspiring you. Do you feel alone on your quest? Look for the legions of beings in spirit and upon the earth that fight alongside you, fearless and ferocious with love. Be uplifted by your fellow spirit warriors, beloved one. Feel the joy of their love and unity with you. You have access to divine power that conquers any obstacle, wins every battle, and secures every victory. So this is a reminder to take that sacred action, to be in community with those who resonate with the things you're saying, and to understand the word. Okay, so it says the word Alakoa comes from the fierce Hawaiian koa tradition of warriors, which means to cultivate the spirit of the warrior, which means this comes through passion, this comes through the act of service. And when you cultivate something, kind of like when you cultivate a harvest, it takes time. So sometimes having the spirit of the warrior, as mentioned with the bee bomb card, it could be that you need to move into a space, or you're not quite in the space you need to be to create from a place of sacredness, a sacred activism, right? To have the comfort and to let down your guard or let down your survival mode so that now you can fully step into that space. Well, these are messages that are reminding us to be hopeful, to know that these feelings of defeat is really just to push us more towards our goal. Like, I know that when I go through difficult times, it kind of makes me feel like I know I'm not the only one going through this. And this is why it's so important for me to learn from this experience, share, teach, guide, because it's going to be a help to someone else. So let's finish up this message. So here it says, for the earth warrior, that means a community, cause, or country. For the spirit warrior, service is to a higher consciousness itself. For the spirit warrior, love is in the inspiration, the purpose of the battle, and the only way to win the war. Joy is a sign that the spirit warrior is tuned into source, for that is the frequency which lets us know when we are in divine presence. And gate 22 in human design, divine presence is all about being in the spirit of grace and knowing that there is a spirit above ourselves that can adorn us with favor. And it's really important to be in the right vibrational frequency, emotional frequency, to experience grace, because grace often comes when we are in a space of gratitude, and that is when we can move through the world with a level of beauty or elegance, knowing that all is taken care of, knowing that our suffering is not without reason. So it says, although the spirit warrior will experience emotions such as grief, anger, and fear, there is recognition that the ability to conquer lies in the present moment, and that fear comes from negative fantasies about the future. And the disciplining the mind and nurturing the soul with spiritual light, the spirit warrior learns how to manage emotional content so that it becomes possible to be fully present. The spirit warrior doesn't have a violent soul, but does have a powerful energy and a great need to put that energy to good use as an effective action-oriented presence for higher consciousness on earth. The spirit warrior within you needs to feel that your life is dedicated to something meaningful and magnificent, to witness the positive difference that you are creating through your actions. Don't allow others to stop you from unleashing this beautiful divine masculine spirit power in your mind, your soul, and our world. We need you. We need men and women who can surrender to the guiding wisdom of a higher power and get things done. The moment you deny yourself the right to be bold, present, practical, and engaged with the world through your spiritual truth, your mind has begun repressing the warrior energy within you. Maybe it's your own mind that tells you shouldn't make waves, or that being spiritual never causes a ruckus, or that you should just be peaceful and let go, even though you know your heart and your ego that is crying for you to hold on. Maybe others are saying you feel too much, or you should protect yourself and switch off from worrying about others that you can't change. Let your voracious warrior soul gobble up such lies and let them intensify your passionate willingness to act. If you try to repress the bold, dynamic vitality of the spirit warrior, then it cannot function and it is meant to become distorted. Signs of distorted warrior energy include the eruption into inexplicable aggression towards others with cold judgment and scathing criticism, or towards yourself in self-defeating, self-sabotaging, self-harming behavior, in violent dreams and in feelings of having one's hands tied, needing to do something and yet feeling held back. If joy isn't cultivated, then the warrior energy can become dark and coercive, where despair leads to loss of integrity and the ends justify the means. I'm going to stop right here, and I want to talk about this because I feel this energy so deeply, and I also want to talk about how I see how this energy can impact the collective. When you are a spiritual person and you feel like no one's listening to the messages that you are receiving, or you feel like the world isn't changing for the better, it can make you not want to speak up. And it also can make you feel like, well, I'm just like, you just turn inward, you turn that energy inward and you become self deprecating or negative. And that is the very thing that we want to fear, because not fair, but we want to be mindful of, because when you are a really powerful person and your power isn't used correctly, it can actually do the complete opposite and be very destructive. And that's what it's talking about. Like, sometimes we see that people can start off with really good intentions and want to help and lead the collective, but when they feel like it's not going the way they plan, that spirit of negativity or loss of trust in life now permeates everything they do, and they no longer are operating in the state of a warrior, but now they are operating in the state of someone who feels helpless, or even can be in a state of cowardliness where you feel like you don't even want to show up anymore. So here, I'll just finish off this message. It says, they the true spiritual warriors eschew such spiritual lawlessness. They have compassion for all people, especially those tainted by the forces of hate. So this is literally knowing that as a spiritual warrior, people may come up against you, and you have to remind yourself that there is an aspect of you in these people, and that the only way you can transform this energy, as it shows. Oop, as it shows from the Jaguar and transitioning the energy, even like it has a Merkaba here of coming into enlightenment and going through a transfiguration. You have to, one, as the Jaguar is, be discerning, be on the prowl, and be highly engaged with life. This type of deep presence is going to draw you only closer to the things that you need to be clearing, be working towards. This could even be inner work. So here it says, they know that if is lower consciousness that they are fighting against, and that the people damaged by it are in need of spiritual truth and fierce compassion. When you fight for love from a space of joy, spirit warrior, the battle opens your beautiful fierce heart. It uplifts your mind and empowers your soul with the might of divine grace that accomplishes all pursuits and wins every war. So I am going to pretty much leave the message there. But as you can see, it's so important for us to learn how to combat negative emotions within ourselves as well as within others, with a spirit of joy and contentment, with a spirit that everything is covered, and that we are in a state of grace, and that we can hold that grace with each other. So I hope my personal, not so personal, collective message reaches you. I hope that it brought you a sense of love, a sense of, passion for continuing to share your truth with the world, continuing to stand up and be bold and live a life of authenticity, and also being an earth warrior, continuing to create something positive in the world for yourself and others. So I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Giving you guys a quick little update now for those who are continuing to watch or will continue to watch this. I will have my YouTube videos up. It's just been a really hectic process of, moving through my own feelings, as you guys can see, of feeling a sense of hopelessness sometimes when you know that the messages you're sharing are super positive or potent, and it may not be what the collective is wanting to focus on right now. So know that times are changing, and it's people like you who choose to listen to messages that uplift yourselves, create messages that uplift yourselves, and share it with others, that is going to continue this cycle of positive conversation, of sacred activism, and of beautifying the planet. So I will create more videos once I get my editing done. Also, please, I need encouragement to edit. I have so much to edit and not much time. So if you're watching this, made it to the end, I would love, one, your commentary on this reading, but also, and like, let me know your feedback, how it relates to your life. What are some transitions and seasons you're going through, and how do you focus on being a sacred activist in the world? But also comment and let me get some encouragement so I can continue making videos like these. It really, really helps. Love you and peace. How do I turn this thing off?